Welcome, Scorpio, to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 9th of October for the Sun or the Ascendant. The standout change for you this week is the arrival of your ruler, Mars, in your sign on Thursday. This is really something to be appreciated. Mars also rules the sign of Aries, and its influence in Aries is very much about taking the initiative. So when it moves into your sun sign, it's going to be a similar kind of feeling, because there's been such a collective in your 12th house recently. Obviously, Mars for the previous 6 weeks or so, and that can be very tricky. Your mood may have been up and down somewhat, oscillating between feeling quite angry about past injustices and at times feeling very emotional. But also Mercury moved into that location last week, and the Sun from the autumnal equinox. So I feel there's been a lot of reflection, but a lot of sense that things are going on around you, but it's been more difficult for you to influence them directly. Mars is going to give you a lot more thrust. I feel that your physical vitality will pick up. You'll feel more self-assured again. If your confidence has been a bit fragile, this will help. But also your modern ruler, Pluto, goes direct on Wednesday. Been retracing its steps since the 1st of May, initially in a very tender area for 6 weeks, but then from the 11th of June, your sector of everyday communications. If there has been very intense interactions during that time with neighbours, siblings, on social media, if you feel that your words have taken on an almost fated quality, it wouldn't be a surprise. But I think you can make a lot more sense of Pluto's influence from now through to the 21st of January. Perhaps ideas you've been developing since 2008 can really start to take on a much firmer form for you. But also Monday sees Venus move after 4 long months in the sign of Leo, which is very much about bigging it up for you. Perhaps your people skills and your charm. I've seen you come into contact with people in your work or professional situation, or perhaps your creative and artistic talents have somehow gained greater recognition over that time, which has all been interesting, but of course that also included the retrograde, and maybe there's been promise that didn't necessarily materialise exactly as you liked, or perhaps someone said something that they didn't necessarily follow through on as you hoped. But on Monday, with Venus arriving in Virgo, technically in full here of course, but it is checked by Saturn. This could be about your love life, to be honest, to be really honest. If you're in a relationship and you're not completely satisfied with that relationship, because Venus and Mars are still in touch in the sextile, as they have been since the 12th of September, but before of course it was in 2 different signs, that's broadly good. But Saturn opposite Venus is one of the toughest influences in astrology, and whether it's a friend that you feel disappointed by or a partner, it could show itself. And I think Mars moving into your sign can make you a bit more strident, rather than seeing yourself thinking things through over and over, particularly with Mercury in the 12th house the last few days, perhaps analysing the downside and feeling a little bit uncertain. I feel that Mars will give you a greater sense of self-confidence. Now Saturday sees the solar eclipse in your 12th house, where of course the South Node is at the current time too. Obviously a link. But over the next year and a half, despite you being the sign of psychology, I think you could be quite surprised by how you evolve in terms of understanding some of your fears, vulnerabilities and anxieties, but also something that served you well for a very long time. It could be a job, could be an interest, a group of friends, or even that involvement could really be something that you're thinking very carefully about to decide whether you do want it to be for the long term. Now you're really going to come to the end of that phase at the end of January 2025, when the North Node, or the nodal axis, switches to Pisces and also to Virgo. And that will give you a real indication of where you need to move on to. But I think, Phil, for now, if there are parts of your situation that you know, maybe secrets, maybe uncomfortable issues to do with your past, maybe things you're keeping very close to your chest and you don't really know quite what to do with. I feel the solar eclipse really does encourage you to not flee these things, but to embrace them, which can be very cathartic for you. It can help to open up your inner understanding. Even if you're someone who's really into personal development and astrology, you could be quite surprised by how powerful this solar eclipse will be over the next 18 months. Thank you for having joined me. If you are new to my channel, this is very much a community. Do share any thoughts you have. If you're a returning visitor, it's lovely to have your company once more. And if you've yet to like, comment or subscribe, I'd be honoured if you did so now. And please know, if you give me your birth data, 3 pieces of information if you know your time, 2 if you don't, I can prepare for you your year 2024 forecast, but I'll give you the rest of this year free. But in my special package of 30% off, you can also get your life roadmap, your character analysis, which gives you searing insights into the patterns that are played out in your life so far and help you to work with them in a really constructive way going forwards. Please see the link beneath this video for more information.